That guy, one of the best pitchers in MLB. I can't stop talking about how good he is. He's not getting the respect either, but maybe he will now after that huge performance. We're muted.
It was me. I fucked it up again, but now we're live and there's no turning back. We're good now. I took care of it.
All right, so are we back with sound?
They
now?
haven't heard anything up until 5 seconds ago.
Okay.
Now they can.
Yeah, all right. So I was talking about how my Tuesday was okay. Trevor Bauer was a stud as usual. Doesn't get the respect he deserves, but we'll try to give it to him as the season goes on because he's insane right now. And there's another insane pitcher going tonight, Chris Sale, and we'll talk about him, I'm sure, in sort of the same vein. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the slate once again.
You should be excited to have someone that actually has a pulse on this show now. That's 2 independent whiffs on trying to start this show. Once without streaming, once without even letting anyone hear what's happening. So, my bad. I'm the worst. Wednesday. This is round 2 of coffee. So, by the end of this, I should be fucked up on caffeine, I guess. The best way to describe it. 11 games, tons of pitching. Core's looking like an interesting spot to be tonight. Let's just dig into it.
Yeah.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that I have now picked a home run in 4 straight live streams.
I think it is. Yeah, I think 5, 4 or 5. Either way, very impressive.
It's becoming like a thing. No bathroom break, actually. I handled that before the stream started for once. I am just picking dongs at a ridiculous clip. It is an amazing, amazing accomplishment that only I can do.
Yeah,
Guys,
you're on
all I do
fire.
is pick dongs. All I do is pick dongs.
Yeah, you see those dongs and you just grab them right up.
I do. It's just dong, 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 dong. I can't stop grabbing them.
We'll see. We'll see if we can continue that. I have not been as hot, although I've had some success in daily fantasy. So,
yeah, the problem in this is that these incredible dong picks are not corresponding to incredible nights of DFS. The times that I win money are the times that I don't do that.
It'll come.
Jake, Bill Bottlicker wants to know if you're related to Badr Hari. Do you know who that is?
I know of. No.
He's a kickboxer. Really, really good, but kind of an asshole. Does some, he was suspended for a little bit, does some cheap shit, but he's really nasty. Look into that.
Well, it sounds just like me as a person, so I'm sure we're related somewhere down the line. But no, I'd never heard of him.
He's a killer, but also like a real horrible human being. Anyway, let's dive into this stuff. Yankees and Orioles. Yankees, 5.1 run implied total. Orioles, 4.3. It's a 58% chance to win for the Yanks. Sonny Gray going for New York. Dylan Bundy going for Baltimore. I'll have both of these guys a little bit. They are nice-ish pay down options. I'm a little scared for Bundy in that run total. So that puts me on Sonny Gray just a little bit more. But I mean, Dylan Bundy has the potential to roll out a big game. I just don't know if the Yankees are the team that's going to be on the receiving end of it. I lean more towards Sonny Gray. I'm not really happy about that either, but those price points are hard to pass up.
Agreed. Yeah, so I'm on both of these guys. And that's not that fun with a 9.5 total here right now, and maybe even a little bit over a 9.5 total. But so Gray has, even though he hasn't had great results, he did in a couple starts, 3 and 4 starts ago, but he's missing bats, and that's what you like to see out of him. He's got his catcher, Romine, no Sanchez, obviously, still. He's a sizable favorite, minus 142 on the road. That probably has a lot to do with the bullpen. I wouldn't expect him to not let up any runs or anything, but I think the strikeouts can be there, as they are there for a lot of pitchers against Baltimore. So for 6,500, he has my interest. And then I think the lower owned guy is going to be Bundy. but 6,100 is too cheap for him, like just pretty much ever. So there's going to be 4 righties in this lineup, and the 2 guys you're most scared of, Judge and Stanton, are obviously right-handed. Andujar is a good bat from the right side. Romine's a good bat from the right side. And then some of the lefties he'll face are like Greg Bird, who's striking out a bunch, Neil Walker, who's got like a 54 WRC plus against righties. And Bundy has just been really good at getting the strikeouts. He's had some bad performances, and he certainly could have that tonight. But 6,100 is too cheap for me. I'm going to be well overweight as long as he's not the chalk, and we don't have ownership projections just yet.
We do it for the early slate.
Okay.
Not something I'm worried about that much. 3 games on DK. Who knows what it is on FanDuel? Probably 1.
Yeah, just a single game showdown.
Yeah, just the first 5 innings.
Yeah.
That'd be some FanDuel shit. What is the early slate? Do they have 3? Yeah,
I think they do have 3.
They do have 3. Good for them.
The site's coordinated.
Yeah, Arturo, I won't be looking at the early slate. That's not for me.
I mean, we can run through it quick at the end.
I don't even know who plays.
I mean, I've got it up, but
you're crazy.
I talked generally about it on the night shift. So if you're looking for early slate, I talked about that right away for like a few minutes.
Yeah, if you're not listening to the night shift, go to iTunes and subscribe. That the night shift is the sole place. Wait, iTunes is the sole place to listen to the night shift. So subscribe. Need to get people to iTunes, and then we will start putting out more content on iTunes.
Yeah, go subscribe, go support us. We don't get any money from that, but well, at least not yet. But
indirectly.
Yeah.
Let's talk bats here. Yankees on FanDuel, absolutely love them. DK, indifferent for the most part. Just a really awkward amount of Stanton, mostly as a one-off. I don't see the Yankees as particularly stackable because I'm a little nervous about Bundy. Although if Bundy has any sort of ownership, I'll be happier to get there. And then Orioles, not really for me today.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think the Yankees are okay, but they're expensive, and I think Bundy is a good pitcher, especially against righties. So I like the idea of stacking up Judge, Hicks, Stan, Gregorius, but it seems too balanced of a lineup. I don't want to attack Bundy with a bunch of righties, even though I know Sanchez or Stanton and Judge are both awesome hitters. They're just a little bit too expensive for me, so I'm on the other side more than the Yankees stack.
Are you liking a little bit of Baltimore?
Oh, I meant I'm on Bundy more than the Yankees stack.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, I don't like that one's. I don't see it. Today didn't seem like a day where you needed to like save any salary outside of Machado, who's good.
Yeah, just
lots of dongs yesterday for Machado.
Yeah, lots of dongs.
Yeah, I got a lot of Stanton as a one-off on DK, more so than I would really like to have. So I'll spread that out a little bit. Hicks and Stanton being the same price is just wild to me.
Hicks has been pretty good, your boy.
He was my boy last Friday, that's for sure.
Yeah. So would you go to any Orioles stacks? Did you get anything?
I got almost none of them.
Okay.
Basically just one on each site.
Yeah, Gray is a volatile pitcher, so I'll probably have some Beckham, Jones, Machado shares, just because Beckham and Jones are cheap, and then, like you said, Machado's good. So 1, 2, 3, I think, is where I'll go.
Bill Butler, did you name your dog after Monica Lewinsky?
Thanks, Anthony Hunt.
Does the dog have just like one random white spot on its side or something?
Oh, God. Dark blue dog with one white spot.
Oh, God. How old were you when that happened? Like 2?
What year was that?
Good God. 90...
Because Clinton's presidency was...
97? No.
So he was president. That was near the end, right?
I would have 97. I think I was in 7th grade. Yup. Oh my God, I was just kidding.
97?
I think 97.
So I would have been 2.5 or so, depending on what month.
97 sounds right. Could be 98. I'm just trying to think. I know what school I was in and where I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I certainly don't.
looks like they were doing some stuff in the 95 to 97 range, and then it came out. Scandal broke on January 17th, 98, so I would have been in 7th grade. Called it.
So I was.
I remember when the news came out and what classroom I was in.
I was 3 years old. 3 years old.
I was in first floor of my middle school in Mrs. Leiby's classroom.
That would have been quite the scandal.
It's really weird that I remember those are like the JFK things. Knowing where I was for that, 9/11, and then they were talking about it on Simmons' podcast. I know exactly where I was when Ron Artest went into the stands.
Oh, I remember watching that with my parents on SportsCenter the next morning. That was scary stuff.
Yeah, we were drinking some brews at my friend's parents' house.
God.
Yeah, we should probably move on now. We've probably had enough talk about Monica Lewinsky. I like the Yankees a little bit, more so on FanDuel than I do on DK. Sonny Gray and Bundy are both viable. Ownership will tell a better story for those guys. If Bundy's if either one of these guys are super high, then I don't agree with being that high.
I agree.
Alrighty, moving on.
Yeah, Luis Caliste. We saw you tweeted us. That was pretty awesome. Took down a couple tournaments, right?
Yeah,
so,
a lot of
good for you
there.
Yeah, Bauer and Wong and Yorko. That's pretty sick lineup.
Yeah, better than mine. Although I had those guys, it just I had them with all the wrong accompanying teams. Blue Jays got some runs, but they didn't get to Tehran really.
Mm-hmm. He's the GOAT.
Apparently. That one just went totally wrong for me. He pitched well, and the Blue Jays got their runs late.
Yeah.
Brewers and Marlins. Brewers, 4.5 run implied total. Marlins, 3.5. 61% chance to the Brew Crew. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee. Dan Straley going for Miami. Brewers looking to be really, really chalky on my end. I'm getting them quite a bit. Both sites. Number 4 stack on FanDuel. Number 6 on DraftKings. And I'll have a little bit of Freddie Peralta. I don't have a problem going to Straley as a pay down option either. But, you don't need a lot of him. He's a decent value option. Brewers only a 4.5 run implied total. But if I want anything here, it's Milwaukee bats. All those lefties just look really nice today.
Yeah, Straley, I don't think he's in play for me, not based on what he's done so far this year, and just getting blasted by lefties especially. Line drive percentage is out of this world, highest on the slate by a few percent against lefties, that is. So Yelich, I always love Yelich against a righty. Shaw, same thing. Thames, same thing. I don't like that he's leading off. I feel like he should be hitting with guys on base more often, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would rather have Yelich 1 and Thames 3. Yeah, Thames.
Well,
3.
Why not even put switch Kane and Thames?
Then you've got. I like splitting up the lefties and righties as much as you can. I would drop Brad Miller behind Saladino too, just for logistical sake. But if we're talking about if they want a lefty at the top, Thames has more natural power than Yelich by quite a bit. Yelich, a guy I would imagine more likely to be getting on. Seems like they would be better off flip-flopped.
That's fair. Yeah, so I don't know. The lineup's a little bit confusing, but I still love all these guys individually. I love the top 6, and I don't mind Saladino. I don't even mind Kratz. Kratz actually comes up pretty high for me as far as catchers go.
Same here.
He just looks like a pretty decent hitter, and I'll play him for 2,800 all day against Straley, who he's not a world beater against righties. So I'm all over this Brewers stack. That's my favorite part of this game. And then, dude, you love the Brewers too, right?
Yeah, love them. Absolutely love them. They are in like my overall rankings, combining both sites. The Brewers are technically third for me, but I had honorable mentions today because Cardinals and Rockies grayed out first and second on both sites, just flip flopped, and then I've got this sea of 5 other teams that are like. I've got the the Mariners are third for me on DK, but 10th on FanDuel. So I was having trouble picking the third team, so I just listed a bunch of them.
Got it.
Because they're all like Brewers, Blue Jays, Diamondbacks, Red Sox, Mariners. Depending on the site, like some are better than others. So I would have had to list fucking half the slate. Do you like anything on the Marlins?
Not really. I like Peralta if you can't get up to that Sale DeGrom range, because I don't think people will be on him, and I think there are a handful of good pitchers in this 10 to 11K range. So I'm going to be taking some stabs at them to get different lineup construction, and Peralta has big upside. The Marlins aren't a great matchup as far as strikeouts, but when you're looking for lack of power, this is a fantastic matchup for a guy like Peralta. So I'm in on him for 10-3. He's a little bit overpriced, but
that's what I was going to say.
Big park, and there are some strikeouts, and no real Muto in the lineup matters to me too.
Yeah, if he was like 9,500 even, I think that he would get a lot of juice.
True.
But 10-3 is... look, I like him. I'll have a little bit of him. He just ends up in that sort of no man's land behind Sale and behind DeGrom.
Yeah, that's true.
But I like him. I mean, he's got some electricity in that arm. That's for sure. Justin Bour, if you want to do it, or Derek Dietrich, I think are applicable one-offs. Just platoon advantage, top of the order type guys. If you're really trying to be different, I wouldn't expect them to have much ownership. So something to keep in mind, I guess.
That's fair.
You desperately need a Marlin today. Okie dokie. Phillies. 3.1 run implied total. Mets 3.9. 60% chance to win for the Mets. Vince Velasquez going for Philadelphia. Jake DeGrom going for New York. DeGrom's one of the dudes today. 12,000 on DK, 12,100 on FanDuel. You know, he's one of the better options. I think Sale grades out as a better overall guy, but you can make a case that Jake DeGrom's a little bit better of a value, saving that extra 1,000. 3.1 run implied total for the Phillies, super duper low. Hard to not like DeGrom here. The lefty bats that the Phillies will use, like Santana scares me a bit, Herrera a little bit, but I'm not too worried about Nick Williams. Like, he can make him pay, but there's so much swing and miss there that, you know, I'll take my chances. And then the righties are just going to be in some trouble. DeGrom can neutralize Rhys Hoskins a little bit. I like DeGrom.
Yeah, I mean, hard not to like DeGrom here. 12,000, you get 1,000 off of Sale. So the way I put it is, he's a good consolation if you can't get up to Sale. I'm going to try to get up to Chris Sale as much as possible when I'm going to this range, but I'm not going to be mad if I get DeGrom at home against the Phillies with some righties at the bottom of the order, some lefties that you're not all that scared of. Like you said, Williams will strike out. Santana won't really, but I'm not worried that much about Herrera, Hoskins from the right side, and Cesar Hernandez. Although if Cesar Hernandez does get on base, he can steal on DeGrom. So he's like, if you need a punt, and he's not that low price, but a puntish second baseman, I think he's the one guy I would consider.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I didn't really get to any Phillies, nor do I expect to. What do you think about the Mets bats?
I like the lefties, Nimmo and Cabrera mostly, but if Conforto's in there, I'm not sure why he was out of the lineup yesterday.
I don't know.
And then I think we talked about it yesterday. Joey Bats has been pretty good, righty.
Yeah,
it's a small sample this year, but yeah,
dual eligibility, like it's Man, as long as you don't have an outlandish price, dual eligibility changes so much.
But yeah, it can completely change your lineup construction. You can get a 3v3 because of one guy that you switch at a position or something. Just opens up so much for the optimizers too for using one.
Especially when you can get like the infield outfield split.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Joey Bats is just an outfielder on DK, I don't have much interest. But because you can slot him in at third and open up that outfielder spot for like a one-off Stanton or something, that's so different.
Agreed.
So yeah, I get it. Mets are 8th for me on FanDuel, 10th on DK. They're more of a secondary stack than anything else. I'll have them. It won't be a ton of volume. I don't expect them to be like popular. Velasquez is good, or good enough to not just get a ton of exposure on the opposite side. I'll have them, but I'm not like super wild about it. 3.9 run implied total. It's not as if Vegas is eschewing the virtues of the Mets today.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would go 1 through 4 just because they're all cheap, 3,800 or less.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Nimmo, Cabrera, Conforto section is great. Yeah. That if I were putting in Joey Bats, he would probably have to go to third just because of that. So I'd probably end up looking more at Wilmer Flores, slightly cheaper, first, third option. Just keep my options open, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I said the word option a lot in that last 10-second stretch. I don't know.
That's all right. We're going to do that. We're talking on here all day. I'm sure people get annoyed at some of our quirks.
Oh, I say things are going to get... I'm really excited or I'm interested. I hate myself sometimes when I say it. I just don't... I've been doing it too long now. I can't imagine how guys... Mike and Mike being a morning show for 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's no wonder they wanted to kill each other by the end of it. Just
right.
You get so tired of your own voice. You get so tired of everything. And that's, a year in for me. Can't imagine wanting to talk. The solo shows are so hard, man. You get so sick of yourself. Anyway, Rangers and Red Sox, and boy, oh boy, is this a scoring gap. Rangers, 2.9 run implied total. Red Sox, 5.6. It's a 76% chance to win for the Red Sox. I think that's the biggest individual win percentage I've seen this season. I mean, 2.5 runs, more than that, 2.6 run gap. It's almost as much as the Rangers are expected to score. Crazy. Bartolo Colon going for Texas. Chris Sale going for Boston. It would be hard to not like Sale. I expect him to be super chalky, as he should be. I like the Red Sox bats quite a bit. I can't imagine getting to anything in Texas, and most certainly not to Bartolo Colon. With the way the Red Sox hit righties, this one could get ugly real fast.
Yeah, this one's super easy for me. Sale, best pitcher on the slate. One of the best matchups on the slate. Texas, when they get out of Texas against a lefty, they're brutal. They're just an absolutely fantastic matchup for him. I mean, there's just nothing not to like about Sale here. Like, even the weather's good for pitching. 75 degrees, a little bit of wind blowing in. He's just an awesome, awesome option. I'll be going to him as much as possible. And then the Red Sox bats against Bartolo, he's just going to be serving it up. If he's not hitting his spots exactly, these guys are going to make him pay. And even if he is, they're probably still going to make him pay. So once again, it's going to be these top 6 for me, with Brock Holton there, like him for 3,400 dual position eligibility. But I don't even mind Devers, Leone, or Bradley either. So it's going to be 1 through 9 for me. It's going to be 1 through 9 for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. It's just so hard. Like, they're just some of those bats on the Red Sox. Betts at 6, JD 56, Benintendi 53. Throwing out some scratch for these guys, but it's hard for them to look any better. Colon, I mean, I guess cue up the Bartolo Colon gem tonight in some strange reason.
Yeah.
Are we sleeping on the Rangers at all? They've been average against lefties this year.
I mean, yeah, at home, they've been good against lefties. On the road, they've been awful when they get out of that really good hitting weather and Hitters Park. So
102 weighted runs created plus against lefties. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So I was looking at versus left-handed pitchers on the road, 25% K rate, 111 ISO, 71 WRC plus this year in 425 plate appearances.
Interesting.
So the home park's doing a lot for them, and this is Chris Sale. This isn't your average lefty. I don't think you need to get cute and go with Rangers bats.
I agree. Just that was a devil's advocate look.
Okay.
I'll have one line of Rangers. That's it.
Okay.
Just in case.
I mean, there is a percentage chance, right? There is a percentage chance that the Rangers score 6 or 7 runs or something. Sale's just not right. He walks a couple of guys, and all of a sudden there's a 3-run homer.
Yeah, like Adrian Beltre dropping one over the top of the monster is not a thing that would surprise me.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, will I have any Rangers stacks? I don't know that I will, but there is a percentage chance that they are one of the stacks you need tonight, especially at that price.
Is chat dead for me, or is just there no chat?
There's just no chat, I don't think.
Chat,
I'm not
wake
kidding.
up.
Yeah, come on. Come on, we need you guys to get through this week.
Yeah, join in these games with us.
At our super tough jobs.
Yeah. Speaking of super tough jobs, congrats, Jake.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll be here full time for the long term with you guys, so that's what Josh was saying. Congrats.
Yeah. I didn't want to step on your shine there. I wanted you to do it.
No. You can step on my shine anytime.
It's exciting stuff, man.
Yeah.
I hope people are enjoying this combo in the mornings, because guess what? It's now definitely not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, you guys should have been louder. Yes, Kevin, full-time Awesemo.
Thanks, Shrek or Shark.
We understand, Jeff. I was just kind of being silent. I was making sure that something didn't go wrong and we weren't like suddenly offline and I didn't notice. That's all.
Giancarlo, I was not working another job. So I was doing this part-time. I was getting a lot of hours and a lot of articles, as you guys saw, but I just wasn't a full-time employee yet, and now I am. So I guess officially next week I am.
Yeah. So exciting stuff. The Awesemo team. What, you gonna run out any like hockey podcasts next year?
We have to talk about it. I'm sure we'll use the All-Star break to me and Tom and Alex will chat, but I hope so. I like the podcast format. Get a lot of content in hopefully a concise amount of time.
Yeah, I think people would eat up like a morning hockey show for sure.
Yeah, that's what I did last year at a different site, and it was pretty successful. So I'm hoping to do that for us.
I assume that, obviously I don't know a ton about hockey. I assume that something that you do in the morning for hockey is generally applicable later in the day. There's not a lot of like late, scratchy, weird lineup changes.
Right. And I don't know, what I was thinking is, so morning skate is kind of where you see, like, that's like the equivalent of MLB lineups rolling in at 4 to 6, but you get it usually even earlier.
Okay. With
some game time decisions, but like around 1 Eastern, most of the line combinations are set. So I could just jump on after that or whatever and talk for a half hour about the slate. And I think that would be something people would like. So that's what I'm going to propose to Tom and Alex.
I mean, like, if we're having this on-air discussion right now, that's a great spot. It's generally like a no man's land for content in the middle of the day, because NBA, it's hard to talk about not right before lock. And
right.
MLB, everything is so lineup dependent. Like that's a great spot to fill in for the day. Anyway, you guys have heard enough about that. Congrats to Jake for being a full-time Awesemo guy now, officially. We're moving on. Reds and Indians. Reds, 3.8 run implied total. Indians, 5.1. 64% chance to win for the Indians. Tyler Mahle going for Cincinnati. Carlos Carrasco going for Cleveland. I like Carrasco quite a bit here. At 9,500, this is sort of the spot that I wish Freddie Peralta was priced at. I have these guys with similar projections, so I get to a little bit more Carrasco than I do Peralta just because of the discount in price. Not super worried about the Reds, although, they do have solid lefty bats. Schebler and Votto in particular, give me a little pause. I'm not really getting to this game from a hitting perspective, though. I wish I were, but for some reason, I'm just not on the Indians today. Just talk to me about this game in general. What are you thinking on Carrasco?
Man, I don't know if I'll get to him because I really, really like a pitcher that's a couple $100 cheaper in Maeda. So I don't know that I'll get to Carrasco. I can't play all these guys, even though I'd like to. I think he's got a decent amount of upside here, but the lefty bats scare me as well. So he's going to get 4 out of 6 to start. And he's not Trevor Bauer. He's not on that level right now. So I don't necessarily want to target this Reds offense that heavily, unless it's with a guy I feel really, really good about, like Bauer. He's been fine against lefties, Carrasco has, striking them out at a 27% rate, but allowing only 11.7% soft contact. A lot of medium and hard contact is a little scary, and I feel much, much safer with Maeda. I'm sure I'll have to pay for that in the ownership, but I don't think the Reds are like the worst filler stack. Jeanette, Votto, Schebler, and Suarez.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
And no one's going to be on him.
Agreed. 3.8 run implied. Yeah, the Reds will not be a popular option one way or the other, but I think that you can get there. I just like that price point. He's priced pretty much where he should be. Carrasco, that is.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a lot of beefs with the pricing today, besides Bundy and Gray, I think, are both underpriced, but I think DK got it mostly right.
Yeah, I would agree. You can make a case that McCullers is a little high, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
Here's what I would drop: McCullers from his spot to Peralta's 10-3. I would drop Peralta from 10-3 down to Carrasco's 9-5, and I think that would hash out those guys pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, they gave you decisions, right? It's not like you can just plug and play Chris Sale and whatever, like Maeda or something. Everyone's like $1,500 too cheap.
I have Carrasco, Peralta, McCullers, and Fulte all in the 17 to 17.6 range.
Wow.
So they're basically the same 4 guys, but you go 9,500 to Carrasco all the way up to 11,000 for McCullers. McCullers just sort of automatically becomes a guy that gets pinched out for me.
Yeah, McCullers and Carrasco, I think, are going to be the 2 guys in that range that get left behind for me.
And that could be a benefit, if McCullers' ownership shows up at 2% and Carrasco's is 15% because of just price. It makes for an interesting pivot to McCullers to just try to be a little different.
For sure. I mean, if you're not playing Sale or DeGrom, I think you're going to be different automatically.
Yeah. Agreed. So
the next 4 or 5 guys are super talented and have 10 strikeout upside.
Yeah, if you go to McCullers, you can easily go to like chalky Rockies and chalky something else, and that'll be enough difference for you.
Sure.
Who was the highest scoring pitcher on the night from last night? It had to be Bauer, right?
Bauer, the GOAT, and they blew his win.
I knew Lauer had a big night too.
Yeah, he did.
In the 30s, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Bauer. Quick hits. Trevor Bauer, just in case you missed that.
Oh, you ended up talking about him on quick hits?
Bauer was my pitcher.
There you go. I love it.
It was an ownership play. He was projected too low, so
it was just him being a top 3 pitcher in the league play for me.
Yeah, but if we were projecting like 20% ownership on him, he wouldn't have been a quick hit because he would have just been what he was supposed to be. I didn't end up seeing what his ownership shook out at. What do you know what it was in the Minimax?
It was like 8%.
I don't know if I still have it open. I do.
I can check quick.
7.6.
Yeah, that's just too low. Way too low.
Agreed. Completely agree. And Josh, who you said would be... I don't know what that means. Sorry, Lorenzo. It's too early. Although it is 9:55. Anyway, moving on. I'm getting off track a lot today. My mind is scattered. I'm going to get myself some Adderall. Blue Jays and Braves. Blue Jays, 4-run implied total. Braves, 5. It's a 60% chance to win for the Braves. Sam Gaviglio going for Toronto. Mike Foltynewicz going for Atlanta. I just touched on Folty a little bit. In a similar tier to a couple guys. At 10K right now. Ownership will play a lot of how I end up on those guys. I have a little bit of Folty now, but that could go significantly higher if he's a guy that is very underrepresented. I don't mind having a little bit of Gaviglio at 5,200 if that's the pay down option you want to grab from having DeGrom or Sale. I prefer the bats in this game. Still on the Blue Jays because they're super cheap. So that will be something I'm going back to, depending on how much Folty's ownership is at. That could sway it a bit as well. And for once, like I'm cool with the Braves. I'll have I'd say they're more of a secondary stack for me than anything else, but I will have some exposure. 8% aggregate right now on DraftKings is pretty healthy. A lot of that going to Inciarte, Freeman, and Tyler Flowers. Jake, Folty, or do you prefer Gaviglio?
Interest in both.
Okay.
Folty 10K. This is kind of like the Tehran play. Obviously, I think Folty is a better pitcher, better against lefties, all that. But righty heavy lineup. He's awesome against righties. Just been pretty good overall. 29% K rate, 348 xFIP. Limiting hard contact, especially on the right side. So he's going to see Granderson, Solarte smoke, and then all righties after that. So I think the strikeout upside is huge for Folty here. He's already had a few 10 strikeout games this year. I wouldn't put it past him to do it again, and you're getting quite a big discount on some of the top guys. Not that 10K for Folty is a discount, but comparatively. Gaviglio on the other side, I'm worried about the top 4 lefties, but same with him. He's been pretty good against righties, and strike him out 28%. Limiting hard contact, 123 whip, huge ground ball rate. Like I could see playing some Gaviglio, even though I think he will struggle against those top 4. But if he somehow doesn't, he should be able to breeze through the bottom 5 or 6.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see like the big gap there. I guess that's a testament to Folty.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a weird game for me. I'm kind of in spots that I didn't expect to be in.
Yeah. So Folty and Peralta are my 2 guys in this range.
Okay.
And then a little bit lower is Maeda, but I think that those guys both have big strikeout upside, and it's going to be a discount. You're going to save some money for bats, and I think, as they say, the bats win GPPs. So
they do indeed. Yeah, I'm excited to have like a decent chunk of Braves tonight, so I hope nothing changes. It's rare that my interests align. I like to take those days as much as I can, instead of the like full fade of the Braves that I did yesterday.
Oh, I should mention, Gaviglio is very bad at holding runners. So even though I have interest in him, like I said, he's probably going to struggle against the top 4, and Inciarte and Albies can certainly steal on him. You got Freeman and Markakis behind him, and then Flowers, who can hit righties or lefties. So if I'm going to a stack, it's just straight up top 5 for Atlanta. But yeah, Inciarte and Albies, really good stolen base matchups.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything super interesting to talk about here. Like I like both teams. I'll have a lot of Granderson. I'll have a lot of Grichuk and Russell Martin, just because their price point. It's a good spot. But if Fulte's super low owned, I will back off the Blue Jays. I don't think that I'll need to be that high on them today. Ownership will depend on that. Like, if they're 4% aggregate, I'll pull down and not be double the field unless Fulte's like 25% on some weird lark. But I don't see that happening. So, go Braves tonight. You don't get that out of me all that often. Would I fade Sale for McCullers? I mean, maybe. Depends what the rest of the lineup looks like. Depends what their ownership looks like.
Fade. What was it? Fade Sale for McCullers?
Yeah. I mean, if Sale's 45 and McCullers is 5, yeah, I'd rather have McCullers in a single entry, probably.
Yeah.
And go to chalkier bats.
I think I'd go Sale there. If I can afford Sale, I'm going with Sale.
Yeah, like, I mean, look, every lineup's going to be different. You could probably build two that you like with either guy.
Yeah.
Okie doke, moving on. A's and Astros. A's 3.4 run implied total. Astros 4.9. It's a 67% chance to win for the Stros. Chris Bassett going for Oakland. Lance McCullers, speaking of, going for Houston. So McCullers is the guy that's getting pinched the most for me at that price point. I got him in basically one line. That doesn't mean I don't like him or see his upside. He's just priced incorrectly. Or at least priced in a situation where he doesn't become an optimal play. I expect his ownership to be pretty low, so it won't take much to be different than the field here. He's not a priority for me. This is another scenario where, like, I'm surprised I didn't get more Astros bats, yet here we are. What do you like in this game? Because I basically am not getting anything. No, don't get me wrong. I like the Astros bats, but they're expensive.
They're expensive, and it is a lower run total. I like getting them at low ownership. People aren't just locking them in like they were last year and early this year, so you're seeing people cool off on them, and their prices are dropping. Reddick, 3,900. Gurriel still 42. Gaddis, 4K is fine with me. Springer only 4,400. That's the lowest price he's probably seen in over a year.
Yeah.
And then Bassett is not good against either hand that I'm seeing. So I love the Astros. They're going to be tough to fit in, but if you can stomach fading Coors or having less Coors and going with some Astros stacks, I think that's a nice way to go in tournaments. And then McCullers.
That I 100% agree with.
And then McCullers he's just too expensive for me too. Like, I'm worried about Olsen, and I actually like Olsen as a one-off for 3,800. I like Lowry. I don't even mind Dustin Fowler for 3,500 if you need an outfielder in that range. Like, McCullers is just a whatever play. I don't like him that much, honestly.
I can't imagine getting to A's today. That's about as clear of a stay away for me as I'll get, just because there's no incentive. I don't expect McCullers to have any ownership. So
yeah,
the A's are a pretty natural skip for me outside of Fowler as a one-off if you just have to fill in. He's 2,200 on FanDuel, 3,500 on DK. I'll take my chances with a lefty at the top of the order.
I didn't realize how good McCullers has been at getting swings and misses lately. So I guess that is going to give me a reason to at least consider playing him, but he's still 11K. And Maeda's been just as good. So I want to save the 1,700 and pay up for some bats.
Fair. Like, you can... It's easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. On to one of my faves, Cardinals and White Sox. Cardinals 4.9 run implied total. White Sox 4.1. 58% chance to win for the Cardinals. Luke Weaver going for St. Louis. Carlos Rodon going for Chicago. I love Weaver today. 7,700 against the White Sox, who just strike out over and over and over again. Moncada, Palka, Davidson, all steamer K rates above 30. I'm really digging Weaver's combination of upside and price. I expect him to be relatively chalky. He's just got what I'm looking for today. It's a really nice DraftKings salary and matchup. So I'm loading up on Weaver, and I am loading up on Cardinals bats. FanDuel #1 stack, DraftKings #2 stack. You'll find them in spotlight hitters and stacks. Everything's coming up St. Louis for me today.
Yeah. I figured you'd be on that. I certainly understand the Weaver play. I really do. I think he looks a little bit better to me lately, and the results, especially that last game, 8 innings, 7 strikeouts against the Giants is impressive. However, that was in AT&T, which we know is a very good pitcher's park, obviously. A couple starts before that, he wasn't as good, but still giving up a lot of hard contact lately. And if he's going to be the chalk, SP2, then I will have quite a few White Sox stacks. I think they're underpriced. Weaver isn't great against lefties. He strikes out more righties, but still allows hard contact to them, allows even more hard contact to lefties, almost no soft contact. Man, I like Moncada. I love Palka. Davidson has a ton of power. Abreu. This is not going to be just a super easy lineup for Weaver, even though overall it is a good matchup. The White Sox strike out a ton, but there is some power here, and I don't think Weaver is the best at missing bats.
I don't think you even have to be the best at missing bats to miss those White Sox bats.
True. Yeah, if you can navigate the top 5 a couple times through the order, like he could have 10 strikeouts here, but I think he could struggle with those top 5. And even Lurie Garcia, I don't think is terrible. So I'm just hoping they get to him with the power if he's going to be chalk. I'll cool off the White Sox if he's, like 15%. But if he's starting to get 20, 25, 30%, like we've seen some of these SP2s get to lately, I will be on the other side.
Okay. Yeah, I would be shocked if I got to the White Sox outside of like a cursory stack or two to be on the opposite side of Weaver's ownership. I assume Weaver's going to be very heavily owned just because of his price.
Yeah, I think so. And I get it, like I said, but I'm just not quite there.
What about Cardinals stack?
Yeah,
you weren't on them really last night, right? You did like a full fade of the Cardinals.
I did a full fade on DK. My best lineup actually had a 3-man Cardinals stack on FanDuel. So I made 150 over there and had a few Cardinals, and my straggler was my best lineup. But Rodon I think he's a fine pitcher, but too many fly balls to righties, not striking them out enough. And I don't want a guy that's going to let these Cardinals put the ball in play, especially lefty-righty. It's just too tough of a spot for Rodon, so I'm with you on the Cardinals bats. I love Yachty, Jorko. This is just a deep lineup. You got Paul DeJong hitting 8th if Pham's back in. Jose Martinez is probably my favorite play. They're just too cheap once again, so I'm on them tonight. I should have been on them last night more, but
yeah, I'm going right back to the well here, Cardinals. Pham, Martinez, Ozuna, just a nasty 2-3-4 righty lefty. I mean, it really doesn't get, especially at that price point, 4,100 for Pham, 39 for Martinez, 33 for Ozuna. I'd say that Marcell Ozuna is probably the best combination of price and upside on the entire slate.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the highest owned players on the slate, I would think.
Yeah. So I'm going to be loading up on Cardinals. Both sites, everybody in play. I'll probably pass a little bit on Munoz on DK. I'd rather have DeJong than Munoz for 500 more, but Munoz only 2,100 on FanDuel. He becomes a much better shortstop option. $1,300 cheaper than DeJong if you need to put him in a stack. Give me all the Cardinals tonight. I expect them to be chalky because of their price point. They're like the value play today.
Yep.
I don't have much else on this one. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah,
I just want those ownerships to come out.
Me too.
Michael Baker. Ooh, there it is. I didn't see Tom put that in there. Ownership should be ready in a few minutes. Thank you, Tom. I didn't notice.
Thanks, Tom.
Much obliged.
Michael Baker, I think that's a question for you.
Yeah. Am I afraid of Luke being too chalky? Not really. Because of his price point, he's not really in a position that'll kill you. You can withstand a rough night from Weaver and still be fine in a tournament. I just think that his upside and price are too hard to ignore, and you can differentiate at the bats a lot easier if you wanted to. Like, you can grab some sort of lower owned stack, whether that's, and I'm just picking teams, but like somebody's going to be not chalky after the Rockies. So whether that's Yankees or Indians or Astros or something like that, I think it's very easy to go to one of those teams to make your lineup more unique.
Yeah. Shark, I could be. I don't know. We'll see where I'm at in a few hours, but I do like the White Sox. This is not just me thinking Weaver's overrated play. I think they actually do match up well, at least those top five. What's the more important statistic for batters, xWOBA or WOBA? I mean, you can find positive regression candidates with xWOBA. So I think xWOBA is important and probably underutilized by a lot of people, but we don't think, right, our stance as a site is we're more into ISO and other stats than WOBA, but yeah, so, I myself like xWOBA.
Yeah, so WOBA or even xWOBA, I mean, they're going to tell you sort of how talented a particular person is, but that doesn't necessarily perfectly correlate to DFS success. WOBA is a linear weights metric. It gives a value to singles and doubles and triples and home runs and walks and whatever. And that's what DFS scoring is. It's just, linear weights based on the outcomes, and the weights are dramatically different. So WOBA's approximating it. Like, you'd be happy to know someone had a high WOBA. It's telling you that person is decent, but it's not calibrated the same way as DFS scoring on either one of the sites. So I'd prefer, and we prefer, looking at more of the component portions. Isolated power to get an idea of how much pop a particular guy has.
Sure.
On base and slugging rates. It's easier to break it down a little bit more granularly. If you only had WOBA, for some reason, that'll point you in the direction of guys that are functional, but I don't ever look at it in terms of DFS. Expected WOBA would be a guy that I would want to look at to see his salary's dropped $700, but in all actuality, he's been just unlucky.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. That's what I'm saying. So a guy's xWOBA is 550 over the last 3 weeks, but he just keeps lining out, and you're looking at his batted ball logs on Baseball Savant, or if there's another place you can look at him, and you're seeing lined out sharply, flied out, 400-foot flyouts and stuff, then okay, maybe that's a guy you want to target. That's why we were on Goldschmidt, because he just kept getting these unlucky outs, and you can see that by xWOBA, because that takes into account average exit velocity and stuff that I reference quite a bit.
Yeah, so when you see that, guys, when that price goes 3,800 to 3,300, but xWOBA was pointing you in the right direction, perfect guy to try to target if he's going to be overlooked for reasons that aren't necessarily applicable. It's not so much that his xWOBA is good, it's that it's better than whatever his WOBA was.
Right. It's all relative.
Yeah. Bill Butlicker. Yeah, chance to win is just a convergence, or is just the money line for the baseball game. I don't know why it's a baseball game.
You can Google how to calculate money lines for baseball. You can just say minus 177 in percentage or whatever, and it'll come right up.
So if the line, and I'll do a quick example here. So if a line is 125 and minus 135, there's going to be some juice in there. If it's a positive number, you do 100 divided by 100 plus whatever the line is. That'll be 40-something%. If it's a negative number, so minus 135, you do the number divided by the number minus 100. And that'll give you the total. You'll see that those two things total up to 102%. So that's the VIG that's on there. So I would divide each of those by the total of them. So it would be this divided by T40 plus T41. Nope. There we go. So in all actuality, in this hypothetical game, in a 125 minus 135 matchup, in this case, it's not that much juice. So it'll be 56% to 44%. But that information's out there if you want to Google it.
Yeah.
And
Coors Field, we go?
Yes, we do. Diamondbacks, 5.5 run implied total. Rockies, 6.0. 55% chance to win for the Rockies. You all can calculate that on your own if you would like. Shelby Miller going for Arizona. Sorry, Shelby. German Marquez going for Colorado. Sorry, Marquez, I guess. Yeah, this one's the bats game. Rockies' 6-run implied total is tops on the slate. That won't change unless... That just won't change.
I won't.
I assume the Rockies are going to be the chalkiest stack of the day. This is a really nice Coors game. Shelby Miller not in a great spot here. So Rockies are my number 1 stack on DK, number 2 on FanDuel. Diamondbacks are number 3 on FanDuel. I don't get them quite as much on DK, but I'm still fine going that direction. This game's all about the bats. I do have a little bit of exposure to Shelby Miller and German Marquez on my first run through. It will definitely be lower than 7 and 10% respectively. Not a direction I'm really looking to go. It's a bit of a fool's errand. Main ownership is out.
Here we go.
Let's scope it out.
That.
Jake,
Perfect
talk
timing.
to me. Are you looking at either of these pitchers today?
Yes. And
that's
it's
not the answer
Shelby.
I expected.
It's not Shelby. It's Marquez. Marquez has been good, and he's 5,100, and I don't think people are going to be on him. And I want an SP2 that's going to be different when I go with Sale or DeGrom. And I mean, Marquez has been okay in Coors. Like, he's had good starts in Coors. And then looking at this projected lineup for the Diamondbacks, he's going to get 6 righties possibly. That's very appealing. He's striking out righties at a 29% rate, allowing less hard contact and xFIP under 3 with a 52% ground ball rate. So if he can make the righties miss, like, he doesn't need to be perfect at this price. If he can get 6 innings out of him, and what I'm saying is it's not super likely, but for 5,100 and assuming very low ownership, I'll gladly take that risk on Marquez and be over the field. Yeah, I'm worried about Lamb and Descalso and Goldschmidt and Pollock even too, but I think he can get some strikeouts here. The weather is super, super scary. 95 degrees, wind blowing out to left. But that's the case for Marquez. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not going to have anywhere near like all in. It's not an all in play, but it is a guy that I'll have worked in for SP2s.
Have you looked at the ownership yet?
Don't
do it. We're going to play Guess the Ownership.
Okay.
Okay. I'll pick out a couple guys just for fun's sake. Luke Weaver.
30?
25.
Okay.
Freddie Peralta.
8?
1. Bolte.
5.
2. Dylan Bundy.
12.
Nails it.
Look at that.
That's some cheating shit. I want to see your screen.
I didn't cheat.
Are you looking at my share? Because that's what I'm looking at.
No, I'm actually not.
I'm fucking with you. Lance
Nice.
Lance McCullers.
Oh, I mean, if those guys are 1, I'd guess like 2,
7.
3. Okay.
Dan Straley.
I bet he gets some juice. Like 7 or 8.
21.
Oh God. Oh, I'd much rather play Marquez. What's Marquez at?
6.
Yeah, give me Marquez. That's not even close.
And then Maeda 13.
Love it. I love that. All right, I'm excited. This will be fun to play tonight.
So here's one that I thought was interesting as well. Carlos Rodon 12.
Interesting. I guess I don't know. Are we missing something there with Rodon?
I don't think so.
Okay. Just a price thing.
I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say there. I skipped Sale and DeGrom because it's nothing interesting. Sale at 40, DeGrom at 30. It's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where my numbers have them. It's just, they were not interesting to me. Dan Straley, obviously the one that stands out the most to me. Although I will say this. Straley has the highest likelihood of being a top 2 value on DraftKings. That jives with my numbers. So I'm not super shocked that he's as high as he is.
All right.
Doesn't mean I like him at 21% in that matchup, but that doesn't shock me at 21. I just don't like it.
All right. That's fair. It doesn't shock me either. I mean, a 5K pitcher when you've got Sale on the slate is always going to get at least some looks. So usually one guy emerges as like the best play, but yeah. I don't know that Straley is the best play in that range. I don't think he is actually.
So in that Peralta, Fulte, McCullers, Carrasco window that I was talking about, having all guys similarly, Carrasco at 12, McCullers 7, Fulte 2, Peralta 1. I'll be more likely to go towards like the inverse of that.
I would agree.
Interesting stuff, though.
I like that. I'm excited to play. I'm excited to MME. I'll probably enter in more tournaments than I should, but whatever.
Brewers and Blue Jays stacks, as I mentioned, popular for me, not popular to the public, well below the average expected ownership. Cardinals and Rockies, very clearly chalk stacks, but not the chalkiest stack on DraftKings. That belongs to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Cardinals, far and away projected to be the chalk stack on FanDuel. 14% aggregate ownership. Next closest team, Boston Red Sox at 9. Interesting stuff on that end. I will be heavier on the Brewers and Blue Jays. I like being on the Brewers now over the field if Dan Straley is going to be the 4th most owned pitcher. Dan Straley sitting comfortably in the Danny Duffy spot from 2 nights ago. That went really well for Danny Duffy.
Yeah, anytime we're going to get like any sort of chalk on a pitcher I don't think is good, I'm just not going to be on them. So I don't believe in Straley's stuff right now, at least. So if he beats me, he beats me. But I don't think he's going to wreck the slate no matter what he does. I don't think he has 25, 30-point upside here.
Chad Stalker, by fix the early ownership, mind letting me know what is wrong?
I'm looking at it right now. It looks fine to me.
Yeah, they look correct to me.
Are we missing someone, Chad? We can move on. How many games left do we have? I love the Rockies bats. I didn't mention that, but that's fairly obvious against Shelby. Favorite stack, I think, for me is the Rockies tonight.
You like the Diamondbacks? I know you're liking Marquez a little bit, but...
Right. So I'll have both sides of it. Goldie, Lamb, Pollock, and Descalso are my favorites.
Try refreshing your screen, Chad. Everything looks good on our end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm loading up on this game. I'll have a ton of Diamondbacks, ton of Rockies. I don't really have anybody like particularly to point out. I don't see a bad play really anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Did you see Ian Kennedy placed on the DL?
Really?
And he shut down the Twins last night. That's funny stuff. That's funny stuff.
Yeah, just rolling through the Jakes and being like, "Oh, that's it for me."
Oh yeah, I got a strained oblique too. can mow down this garbage team.
Bill Butler, we've done an Ancestry DNA results pod. I don't remember if that happened before or after I came on to Osmo, but I have looked through my 23andMe results on a stream at some point in time. I'm 95% African American, but the 5% non-African American I have is super dominant, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
If I dropped Trow on the video, you would understand that a little bit more, but I would also get kicked off of YouTube. So check out my chat roulette page if you want to know that.
Chat roulette, nice. What a reference.
I think there's a different one, but I don't know the names anymore.
Back in my day, it was like Omegle.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Omegle.
I don't know the proper way to say that. I just know how to type in Pornhub, you know. Anyway, moving on. We'll let Jake talk about one of his favorite pitchers that no one talks about. Mariners and Angels. Mariners 4.2 run implied total. Angels 4.4. 53% chance to win for the Angels. Marco Gonzalez going for Seattle. Jaime Barria, who I feel throws every single game for the Angels, going for the Angels. Neither guy projected with any ownership. Neither guy got any ownership from me. Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, so Marco's just been good. I mean, what are people like? He continues to get overlooked. I don't know that this is a perfect matchup for him, and I'm worried that this will be his third time facing the Angels in the last month. So, like, there are reasons to not play him, I guess, tonight. He's on the road and whatever, but he's just been very, very good and missing bats and getting chases and all the things I like. Whiffs per swing rate is up. So for 7K, I will have some Marco. I don't think it's going to take much to be over the field on him, but I think we got him at the lowest ownership we list for anyone. Yeah. So at no ownership, he makes for a fine pivot for me from Weaver. Like, if he can get you 20 and Weaver gets blown up, then I love it.
I don't want to say this because I don't want to rain on your parade. I would say that Marco Gonzalez grades out as the worst option on the slate for me.
Whoa. I mean, if you're using stats from, like, last year, then yeah, for sure. But it looks like he's figured at least something out.
Look, I mean, if the Angels only have a 4.4 run implied total and they run out all of those righties, including Trout and Upton and Pujols and Kinsler, the guys that hit lefties well, I'm going to point more towards some sort of change in Marco Gonzalez structurally.
Agreed.
Because that 4.4 number would be higher.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with Marco, but he's just missing bats, and he's done it against this Angels team twice. And that's, I don't know, you can make a case that it's bad that he's going to see him a third time, and that certainly could be the case, but...
I still need to do that research.
Yeah.
Get that ready for 2019.
So I don't know what pitch he's using to... Wow. Let's see if I can look this up.
He's got 346 xFIP on the season. 8 Ks per 9, less than 2 walks per 9. But I think the key takeaway for all of this, BABIP of 322. That's actually, like, unlucky.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting a lot more whiffs on his changeup lately.
I was going to say, I'm going to pull this over here now and look at his FanGraphs profile. Just because I think this is an interesting talking point. Because he grades out really poorly for me, obviously, but his entire package of work in 106 innings so far, which I might add is more than he's thrown in his entire career before this. It looks like he made some structural changes. Let's see what he's doing differently.
So, here, let's go to...
So, I don't know if this is just pitch classification, but he's throwing his fastball significantly less, and apparently he has a cutter?
Yep. That's what I'm seeing as well.
And said cutter is... Wow, where do they lump that in?
Let's see.
Cutter hasn't been great as a pitch, but I think it's making his curveball look better.
I mean, I don't know what's going on, but just look at the plate discipline over his last 5 starts or so, and you'll be impressed. And the xFIP and stuff is down. He's better against righties than lefties, it looks like, striking them out at a 6% higher rate. There's a lot to like about Marco, especially if no one's going to play him. So this is, yeah, the cutter looks like it's been a little bit of a game changer for him. In June, for pitchers that threw at least 50 cutters, he ranked 11th in whiffs per swing rate. And cutter's not a pitch that you get a lot of whiffs on in general, but he's getting a bunch, and then a lot of bad contact that he's giving up, like soft contact, I should say.
Yeah, this is really interesting to me.
I don't know.
No one's really hitting the cutter, and it's creating a situation where it's making his other pitches look better. Like maybe making it really difficult to pick up now, whatever movement he's getting on that cutter. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's we're kind of doing this backwards, justifying the output.
Well, you want to see why, if he didn't rank high in whiffs per swing in June or whatever, I probably would just be like, oh, this guy's getting lucky, or he had a couple good matchups in a row. But if all this stuff supports the recent results, like if his whiff rate is up and his swinging strikes are up and all that, then I'm more likely to say, okay, maybe this guy has figured something out. And if no one's going to be on him, I'll take the risk that he has figured something out for 7K in what looks like not a great matchup, but he actually does pitch better to righties, it looks like.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. I like Marco Gonzalez a little bit now after digging in. Might need a manual adjustment because I think that he's changed the way that he throws. I'm interested to... Here's me saying interested again, but this is something that I want to dig into more and more. His results are just not matching his aggregate projections, and that's because 50% of his career is this year, so it's not going to update him as quickly. He just doesn't have a big enough sample.
So I don't know what DFS Cash is saying, but LOL, macro stats, not micro. Yeah, I mean, macro stats are important, but when you're looking at pitchers, they do make adjustments in season. You've seen guys change completely change who they are based on a pitch or a delivery change, or there's just adjustments that can be made, and you need to account for those when you see something that jumps off the page.
I mean, it's fascinating to me. I mean, it's all in that cutter, I think. That's the difference. Throwing a regular fastball, dramatically less.
Yep.
I mean, he moved 20% to a pitch that's slightly slower with additional movement. I like it. There's the Marco Gonzalez take that normally I would not be here for, yet here we are.
And he could have a bad start here. He's faced this team. They've seen him a lot. They've seen his whatever he's figured out a lot. So maybe this isn't the Marco Gonzalez breakout game. Maybe we already saw it, and the Angels could have him figured out. But it's worth diving into when no one's going to be on him.
I completely agree. And especially with the Vegas total, like, agreeing with that information. Mm-hmm. If the Angels were 5.1 right now, I'd be like, okay, Marco Gonzalez just still sucks.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anything for bats here? I like the Mariners quite a bit on DK. They're actually my number 3 stack. They're in a really nice spot from a price perspective. D. Gordon's dual eligibility is really important. Looking to be a relatively chalky option today. But I like Nelson Cruz. I like Kyle Seager. I like Chris Herman as a cheap catcher option. Do you know how... I don't really care about that anymore.
Never mind.
Yeah. I'm going to be in on both teams from a hitting perspective. Angels more of a secondary stack, but I'm going to load up on some Mariners now, and I'm going to force in a couple lines of Marco Gonzalez.
Yeah. So Haniger, Cruz, I like. Chris Herman is a nice catcher punt. Yeah, and then who knows? Marco may just be much better now. He may be much improved, and like that kind of research is worth it. I don't know. It's quick, and it's not always that quick, but that was a short look. It may just be a short sample thing, and that's fine if you want to say he's just getting lucky or whatever. But he is missing the bats. That is real, and
yeah, the xFIP's real. The BABIP being north of 300. Like if his BABIP was 210, I'd be like, oh, okay, like he's getting a lot of balls hit to fielders. But I mean, all signs are pointing to Marco Gonzalez being slightly different than he was heading into this season.
Right, and it's something to keep in mind for down the road too. If you see him in a decent spot and people aren't going to be on him, that's why I was on him against the Angels last time when he was at home. This is a worse spot, and I don't expect another 30-point outing or whatever. But
damn. All right, Dodgers and Padres. Dodgers 4-run implied total. Padres 3.3. 58% chance to win for the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda going for LA. Joey Lucchesi going for San Diego. I was hoping to like Maeda a little bit more here, but 13% expected ownership. I don't see me using him to get above the field. I just don't see the need if he's going to be that owned. I like him. I'll be in and around the field, but he's not the guy that I'm going to go over for. I'll have a little bit of Lucchesi just because of Petco. The only thing that I don't really want here are Padres bats. What say you?
Yeah, I don't want Padres bats. I think Maeda has been fantastic lately. 3 straight 9 strikeout games. Okay, great results. But now you look at the swinging strike rates, and I guess those are technically results too, but sort of the advanced stuff. 19.1%, 18.6%, and 15.1% against the Cubs, Rockies, and Dodgers. I mean, the Rockies are a pretty easy matchup, but the Cubs and the Angels aren't. They're not cakewalks by any means as far as getting strikeouts. I'd like to see him get up to 100 pitches, and that's kind of the one thing holding me back from Maeda, but I like where they priced him at 9,300. Great park, Padres strikeout. Top 5 highest percentage against righties this season. Actually second this season, top 5 over the last 30 days as well. Just a lot to like for Maeda here for me. And then bats, I like Taylor. Justin Turner's way too cheap, even though it's a bad park. I mean, dude, I don't even mind playing Muncy. He or Kemp. Muncy is legitimately crushing everything. Like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he's got a 199 WRC plus against lefties this year. That's a short sample, but he hit another home run last night. I don't know what to say besides he just looks like a really good hitter.
Yeah. Now that his price is back down to like 4,600 and that dual eligibility, I thought I would get to him a little bit more, but he's still just dramatically unused in my lines. I love Kike today. If he's hitting second outfield shortstop eligibility at 3,500, he'll be one of my more used guys, especially against the lefty. I just wish this game wasn't in Petco. Kike would look even better.
Yeah, I think you're going to get very, very low ownership on this Dodgers stack, and it's cheap, but not too cheap where they're like all 3K or something where everyone's going to be on them because they are cheap, but there are definitely some parts that I like, those top 5 or so.
Yeah, we're projecting average aggregate exposure to the Dodgers. I think they're a really good supplementary stack just because of Taylor duel, Kike duel, Muncy duel, Bellinger, Forsythe, Barnes, all dual eligibility. There's 6 guys. You can mix and match the Dodgers in such weird ways. You can play these guys. You can play the same 4 guys in 4 different positions. Nuts.
What about Tolles? So is Andrew Tolles back up? That's how you pronounce it, Tolles? So looks like they called him up. I don't know if he'll be in the lineup. He's a lefty, if I remember correctly. I'm so bad at remembering handedness for guys that get called up. But I believe he's just a left-handed hitter. I don't know that he will be in this lineup tonight. Yes. Yeah. But here, I can look up how he was last year, but
I have no interest in Tolles if he's in the lineup.
Okay.
I don't. Well, I mean, he's a speed guy, so against a lefty, I'm not super worried about it. I assume Lucchesi's good enough at holding runners, so I don't see a ton of value in Tolles unless he's minimum salary.
Sure. Let's see if I can quick find him.
26. All he is speed. Maybe a little pop, but it's more not game power.
So last year, 112 WRC plus against righties, 191 ISO. Doesn't strike out that much. I remember playing him quite a bit last year when he was cheap, but not someone I'm like dropping everything and throwing in my lineup if he's up.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Wow, he doesn't really steal any bags anymore.
I
He's
have
got big time speed.
Super fast.
He swiped 62 bags in Single A in 2013. He only had 2 steals in 34 games for the Dodgers this year in Triple A. It doesn't look like he's running as much as he used to, but he was a plus runner coming up.
I'm sure he's going to be asked to do that with Dave Roberts as his manager. You'd think that Dave Roberts, that dude loved to steal more than anything.
True.
One of the biggest steals in history, actually, Dave Roberts. That Red Sox.
I mean, it's probably the biggest steal in the history of baseball.
Yeah, dude, that gave me goosebumps just thinking about that. That was.
I love watching that call and watching it from different
so
angles
awesome.
In the game. So sweet.
That was like when I fell in love with baseball that year. That was also the Bartman year that broke my heart. But
that dude gets such a bad rap, man.
I know. They finally won though, so we're all good.
They sent him a ring, right?
I believe so. They invited him back to You Won't Come Back.
I don't blame him.
Which is a shame, but right away you could tell it wasn't his fault. They're looking for something to blame it on. And
yeah, they should blame who booted it at short?
Alex Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Pryor fell apart, but he was on like his 157th pitch, and Dusty Baker just let him go. Just let him go.
Oh man, I love Mark Pryor, man. He was so good.
Well, Dusty Baker just blew his arm out that whole year.
I'm glad you weren't standing where I was when Dusty Baker was waiting for his car in San Francisco. You'd been like, "Fuck you."
You stole a ship from me in 03, man. What are you thinking?
You ruined Pryor and Kerry Wood, you asshole.
Yeah, honestly.
Luckily, I was just like, "Yo, what's up, Dusty Baker? I have no tie to you. Thanks for playing for the Braves in 1972."
Who should I start at the bottom? DFS cash. Center field?
Who started from the bottom and now they're here?
I don't know.
Should start at bottom. Bottom of what?
I don't know. We can do crunches now. We've been talking forever.
We have. It was a good stream. We went into some things that were off the beaten path. We had lots to talk about today. Give me 2.
Let's go with try DeGrom and Weaver. See how that looks.
Yeah, this will be a popular combo. Fuck, am I on FanDuel? No, I'm on DraftKings. I got 4. Mets Braves.
So you got 5-2-1s rolling right now?
Yes. And this first, yeah, I do. Apparently I do, at least.
Oh, there's the stack against Marco right there. Angels stack.
That'd be a super unique lineup.
For sure.
And it projects really well.
Yeah.
I like getting, I'm not the biggest Tyler Flowers guy in the world, but I like getting what amounts to Freeman and Stanton as 2 one-offs with the Mets stack if you want to be different. Because that's what, if you're going to be playing DeGrom and Weaver, you need an Angels stack or a Mets stack, one of these teams that aren't owned.
I'm reading the chat right now.
Yeah, Bill Butler is just...
Bill Butler's on fire, man.
Dude takes us in different directions.
Kike. That's what he wants to be called, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'll tell you what, though. That's not how I said it the first time I saw it.
Oh God, yeah, you could get in some real trouble.
Yeah, those accent marks are key.
Derogatory terms.
Yeah.
You gotta pay attention to those acentos.
I was like, why would that guy want to be called that? Right. Let's look at a different combo because I think if you're going to something like DeGrom and Weaver, you need to not be anywhere near Cardinals, Red Sox, Rockies.
Yeah. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's not tough to get away from those stacks. There are other very good spots.
So let's look at somebody like Peralta and whoever else shows up for him to see what happens if you do drop down.
Sure.
Because we're projecting Peralta with, next to no ownership.
You could even do like Peralta Fulte.
I got a Peralta DeGrom here. 5-man Mets with D. Gordon Seager and a one-off Eric Thames.
Hell yeah.
I don't necessarily see the need to go Mets in that scenario. 5% aggregate ownership. That's not like a chalky pairing, but I don't hate it. Carrasco Peralta. Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Granderson, Mitch Moreland.
I would go like White Sox with DeGrom and Peralta, or DeGrom and Maeda. I think you can do that.
There's a Peralta Maeda with the Dodgers, Blackman and Cargo with a Jose Martinez.
Yeah, dude, Dodgers look pretty good if you're trying to get away from some stuff.
Ooh, I don't mind that Sunday. Like, you can get some really nice lineups by differentiating a pitcher tonight.
I think that might be the play. I mean, obviously those two top guys have by far the highest upside, but if they don't have ceiling games and one of Peralta, Fulte, Maeda, one of these guys have ceiling games and you guess right on the low tier guy, you can get some really, really nice bats in there.
I'm going to look at White Sox for you. I'm going to do a guaranteed 5-man White Sox stack, lock Peralta, and see what we get.
Okay.
Seems like it'll be fun to do. I don't know. For some reason, I'm just into like doing weird shit today.
Nice. Don't tell your wife.
I won't. Hey, she gave me quite the compliment today. She was having trouble activating Microsoft Office, and I'm like, obviously the tech guy in the house, and she said, without me saying anything weird, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Now, she didn't mean it the way she said it, but I'm taking it to mean that I'm amazing. Alrighty. 20 stacks, locking up Peralta. White Sox as a 5-man. That's not at all what I entered in here.
We can look at those three.
Well, it didn't even come up correctly in that way. Oh, it's probably because of my exposures. How could that even happen? How could I have 100% White Sox and not get the White Sox? Oh, I have everybody checked. That makes sense. Now I get it. There we go. Okay, we got two. Let's just take a look and see what we got. So 5-man White Sox. It's Peralta and Straley with Betts.
Oh my God, I love it.
Arenado and Story.
I really like that. And you could even upgrade Straley to one of these other cheap guys, Gaviglio or
Marquez.
And you could even you could downgrade the Mookie one off and go to like Marco Gonzalez and get a 4K guy in or something.
I mean, you could drop down to Benintendi instead of Betts if you wanted to go with a Red Sox, and then how much higher can we go there? You can get your boy Bundy.
Bundy, yeah, absolutely.
Bundy, Peralta, White Sox stack, Arenado, Story, Benintendi.
I'm all over that. Yeah, that's music to my eyes.
That's I like that. If at any point in time we get merch, that's music to my eyes should be one of the shirts.
Yeah. Should we talk early quick? I did talk about it on the night shift.
Hit it. I don't have anything. I didn't load it up today.
I don't know much about this Hunter Wood fellow that's starting for the Rays. I can look up quickly and give you a very, very quick research on him. Let's see. Is he a reliever? No, he's not a reliever.
Sorry, Makad, I didn't look at it today.
Anyways, here, I'm just trying to filibuster for a second. This slate is not great. The Twins are going to be chalk, as I said on the night shift last night. This Hunter Wood fellow is not going to go very long. I think it's going to be Yarbrough after that. People thought it was going to be yesterday. I just excluded him from my player pool. That was kind of my decision because there was some uncertainty. But let's see if it's going to be Yarbrough. Set up the left there. I don't know. Does anybody else know if it's going to be Yarbrough?
I know even less than I normally do.
Because I think he's super interesting, even though I don't like lefties against the Tigers, just as a way to get off Lance Lynn. If I'm playing one lineup on DK this morning, I don't think I'm eating the mega Lance Lynn chalk. I don't mind eating some Twins bats chalk. I think Rosario's an awesome play. I'm sure he'll dong because that's what all my dong picks wait one day for me. Like Jose Ramirez yesterday in the first inning. But I like the Twins bats. How can you not? 5.7 run total. I love the Nats bats. You can fit in pretty much whoever you want. And then what is Zimmerman's ownership? 34. That's relatively low. He's the third most owned pitcher. I like Gonzalez, Zimmerman, and then Yarbrough if it's going to be him, especially if he's not starting. So that's probably where I'd go with pitchers. Love the Nats. They're probably my favorite stack. I'd probably go full Nats stack with a couple of Royals bats in there to leverage off of Lance Lynn. But it's not a great slate. I wouldn't be risking a ton.
No. Yeah, I don't have any interesting anecdotes for the early slate. It's just not for me.
The night shift, Luis, that is on iTunes.
Yeah.
Just search osmo.com. Go subscribe while you're at it.
I'll paste the link in quick to the chat.
Perfect.
Osmo on iTunes.
Thanks, Shark. Always helpful in the chat.
I used to have it, now I don't.
Here, I can.
I think I got it here.
All right.
That should work. And just for Bill Butlicker, who was, well, you don't have to use iTunes. You could use any podcast thing, but it's a podcast. It is not on YouTube. Trying to get eyes to that as well, so.
I got Android phone.
Whatever you just need the RSS feed. You should be able to search for Awesome.com and subscribe for it.
Yeah.
Here you go, Bill Butlicker. My 23andMe breakdown.
Oh my God.
I am 99.8% European with 0.1% of broadly East Asian, whatever that means. But yeah, a lot of Slovakia, which is everything that I knew growing up. That 5% Sweden must have went away when I was a young lad. I had very, very bright blue eyes and very, very bright blonde hair. Hitler would have loved my shit, man.
God.
Now, not so much. It's brown. I look normal. So, a lot of Slovakia, though. A lot of potato people. It's not the best stock. Sorry, Slovakia. Not a place that a lot of people want to go. So there you go.
All the analysis here. We've got everything at osmo.com.
Except for an optimizer. Sorry, Wesley Maxwell. I mean, for me, we all use Fantasy Cruncher. I think that it's the best option on the market, but
I don't have Fantasy Cruncher just yet, but
sure.
Working on it.
It's It just does a really good job. It has everything I need, and I've been using it for 5 years now. I haven't been given a reason to switch. Let's just say that much. Yeah, so there we go. That is what I am. I am mostly the standard European gentleman. That's it, guys. We've been running long. It's already 11 o'clock. This is 25 minutes longer than it normally is. We are going to get out of here. Check out Quick Hits a little bit later. NFL content coming out later today, most likely. Check that out. Chris and I recorded part 1 yesterday, which was not supposed to be in parts, yet here we are. Then live stream tonight, 6 o'clock. Myself and Chris Spags. We will see you then. Adios, everyone.